All right, here we go in chapter 4 of letting go of the words. So, chapter 4 is all about home pages. When you're starting to design home pages, there's two things that you need to think about that the book lays out. The first thing that you need to think about is creating information. Let me get my pen here. Information rich pages or an information rich homepage. The second thing that you need to focus on is task rich. So basically what this means is that your site has to have the information, or your homepage has to have the information that your average site visitor or your common site visitor is going to want, and then it has to be task rich. What are they going to do once they get there? And they need to move between these quickly and efficiently so that ideally your site visitors are moving past the first page and onto the second, third, fourth pages of your website. So let's kind of take a look at how the book suggests that we go about doing this. The first thing that they're going to do is go through and outline sort of what's in the chapter. But the first thing is you want to be identifiable to search engines. So you got to help your audience members get to your page. And so this is going to use some SEO practices down here that we'll talk about in a few minutes. The next thing, identify the site. Did I get to where I thought I was going? So why do users end up at your site? Are they actually at the right place? So identifiable. So they're saying, oh yeah, this is the site I want to be on. Okay, let's get down to business. Next one, the site's tone and personality. You need to carefully go through and inspire trust, confidence. They want to make sure that you are who you say you are. You know, there's always that issue on the internet, people not trusting who's actually kind of behind the curtain. And so you need to come out quickly and you need to establish that personality and start to establish trust with whoever your customers happen to be. The next one is help get a sense of what the site is all about. Is this, what's the purpose behind this site? And hopefully it aligns with whatever your site visitors' intentions happen to be. Number 5, you want to begin the conversation quickly. Remember, website is all about a conversation with your visitor. You need to jump into that conversation as quickly as you possibly can. And then the last one, you want to send them on in the right direction, meaning in most cases, you want them to be able to find the links on your page. They're going to help them navigate through your site in the way that they originally need to navigate through your site, in the way that they need to end up in a certain destination. Okay, so let's go through and take a look at how this is laid out. So the first topic here is to be identifiable through search engines. So identifiable through search engines means that you need to incorporate good SEO. Now in this class, we don't have a whole lot of time to go into SEO, but we're going to continue to touch upon it. So I encourage, for those of you who aren't familiar with SEO, this is a good topic for you to reach out and do some learning on your own, maybe take a class on SEO. Others of you I know are coming up to speed on SEO quite quickly. So taking a look here, just basically SEO. SEO is basically derived from keywords. And so basically the keywords are when somebody types into Google, let's just use Google as an example, but any search engine. Let's say they type in here, let's use a different color for them typing in. Let's say they type in ice cream. Oh, making some typos here. Getting ahead of myself. So let's say they type in ice cream Kalispell. Okay, so if they type in ice cream Kalispell, if you have an ice cream store in Kalispell, you want to end up being the very first link or set of links that pop up. And so SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization, as we reviewed the other day, is going to help take these keywords, these words that people are going to enter into Google, and you want to put those words in your site. Now there's a whole bunch of tools and strategies that you can use to improve your SEO, but that's the basic idea behind it. And so when you're thinking about your site, SEO matters, and talking to those search engines matter, because most people are going to arrive at your site, even if they know they want to get there, they're going to arrive at your site through the search engine. So that's one important first step. And so let's kind of take a look at the difference between successful SEO and not successful SEO. So the most important thing about SEO really is, yeah, you need to do your search, your keywords, and you need to research those and find out what the keywords are that people are actually using. But you don't want to get caught up in what's called kind of gaming the system. Gaming the system does not work. This is also known as keyword stuffing. And so keyword stuffing is where you take too many keywords and you cram them into a page. So let's take a look at an example of what keyword stuffing would look like. So let me erase this and we can see here. And so this is just an example within text. White is a word on a white web page that is white because the background is white. White is a color that is white, is not black. White is lighter than green. You get the idea here. White, 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 white. A Google search engine, the metacrawlers that scroll the internet and look for SEO qualities or judge SEO traits, they're going to look at this, something like this example, and they're going to call this keyword stuffing, and they're automatically going to throw the results out. So SEO is not about just stuffing a whole bunch of words in there. It's actually about creating really good content and content that matters. And so as the author of this book points out, is write remarkable content. Write content that matters. Yes, think about SEO, think about keywords and incorporate that, but create content that is rank worthy. And so we'll talk some more about that as we go through the site, but that's an important aspect. Okay, next one, number 2 on our list of 6, going through here, identify the site. So the first thing that you can do to identify the site is basically, whose site is this? So when a person's navigating, they want to know immediately, am I on the right site? Am I looking at an ice cream store in Kalispell, Montana, or am I looking at something else? The other thing that they're going to talk about here that's important to consider, important to look at, is right off the bat, we'll see on this next page, is if you look at this wilderness travel site, they're immediately going to, you know that you're at the right site, and then there's immediately some kind of what we would call a little tagline that really identifies and kind of brands the business or the site once they get there. And this is pretty important. This needs to be short. It needs to be quite scannable by the reader. You do not want to put a mission, a multi-sentence mission statement is not a good idea. You want this quick, snappy, and quick mission statement? No way. You want this quick, snappy, usually 6, 7, 8, 10 words is kind of a tagline max is what you're looking for. So think about what tagline could I write for a business's website. So the next thing here is setting the tones and the personality of the site. What kind of tone do you want? Do you want this to be fun, caring? Do you want this to be comedic? What kind of tone do you want in the website? And you want to make it personable, and you want to give it a personality. But at the same time, as we'll talk about in a few minutes, you don't want to get cutesy with this. You don't want to overdo it. You know, you want to have a, maybe as the example that's given here in the book, they have a folksy tone, but they don't play it up too great of a degree. So let's take a look at the IRS here as an example. If this were the IRS website that you ended up when you went to the IRS, it would probably not really set the appropriate tone. For one, it looks like a kind of cheap newspaper, yellow background, has a speech box coming out of the person's mouth as they cash or do something with their paycheck. We've got, this kind of looks like a used car lot. Not great for the IRS, already an organization which people have a hard time having much love or care for. So if we take a look over here at the next example of the IRS, this is a much better example. This is, yes, there are people here, they're talking, they're asking questions, but it's professional, it's crisp, it's clean, there's nice space around these questions that they have, lots of good information, hot topics, forms. Frequently, I imagine people end up here looking for forms, so there's a whole variety of forms you can have. There's a search box up here so that people can quickly search for what they're looking for. This has a nice personality, a nice tone, dramatically different from the previous example that we looked at. Okay, so the next thing in the text that we need to talk about is number 4, and that's having a useful homepage. You know, in a useful homepage, there's a couple things that you need to do. You need to have a call to action. What are your site visitors there for? And then the next thing is engaging in the conversation. They're all coming there with a conversation in mind, and you have to engage them in that conversation. And so taking a look at this. This gives you a pretty nice breakdown. What is the site about? Is it mostly links and short descriptions, and then a call to action, which you're using verb phrases to get your audience members or your site visitors involved in the conversation they came to have. They came with questions, they came wanting to grasp knowledge of something about your site, and so help them out with that. Okay, the next item here, number 5 is kind of a little bit of repetition of number 4, but it's really jumping into that conversation quickly. You don't want to wait. You don't want to make your site visitors struggle to enter into this conversation that you want to have with them. You want to just get right to it. And so jumping into that conversation is going to be important, but at the same time, you need to say, okay, but what the question here is, what conversation do my site visitors want to have? And so where do you get this information? Well, this goes back to what we worked on last week, and this comes back to your personas. And so who, basically demographically speaking, who is a site visitor? And then based on who your site visitors are, who is a site visitor, based on who this demographic information, that's going to determine what conversation they want to have. And so you need to think about that over and over and over again throughout the design and the development of your site. Okay, next item, number 5, moving through this, or number 6 actually, that was number 5, is, let's see here, did I miss it? Nope. Okay, sending each person on the right way. So your main site visitor is going to get to the site. They're going to look at it. They're going to scam it. They're going to skim it. They're going to make sure that they're the right site. They're going to start to slowly engage and sort of hear what the big picture of your site is all about. Now, likely, you're not going to be able to make everyone happy with the content that's solely on your main page. And so what you want to do is you want to help them move ahead quickly in their conversation by efficiently directing them to where they need to go. What do they need to look at? Do they want to find the business hours? Do they want to find the business location? What are they looking for? And so here you want to put some suggestions, is maybe putting search near the top, but getting people beyond the home page is the main deal here. Move them past the home page so they get to their home, and then after they get to the home, you have a nice chunk of links past home. And so this would be obviously sub page 1, page 2, page 3, and page 4. And your goal on this home page is helping them determine which page is it that I need to go to as a site visitor and what's going to get me there the quickest, because you want this to be a nice seamless conversation that your site visitors are engaged in, where they're moving to wherever they need to go.